All right. Welcome back, everybody. My name is Token D Rock here with another video, another stream. Hopefully, all of you are having a wonderful day. It is Thursday, March 24th. We are officially in spring the past 3 days. Overall, crypto market cap is sitting just under $1.95 trillion. Bitcoin dominance is waning a little bit. It is below 42% at 41.8%. ETH dominance sitting at 18.6. Bitcoin today is above $43,000. ETH 3,100. Cardano at $1.09. More or less, some of these altcoins are, for the most part, where they were yesterday. A few of them have rallied a little bit since then, but looking at the Bitcoin 1 minute chart, we can see that Bitcoin is overbought a bit. You can see RSI is showing that right here. Broke out above this little dotted line right here, so that indicates Bitcoin is overbought. So we could see some further pullbacks, maybe to like right about here. Previous support right around 43.2, 43.250, something like that. Zooming out so you guys can see the bigger picture. Again, we just have entered this previous overhead resistance band that we last visited back about 3 weeks ago, roughly almost exactly 3 weeks ago. And before that, last time we hit it was back in February. And before that was all the way within the first 3 weeks of the year starting. But as you can see, the line of support right here that we drew yesterday is still holding. I did draw this green line right here to show you that this is kind of playing out to be an ascending triangle. It could be rather bullish if we break out above this overhead resistance right here. But again, time will tell. Anything can change on a dime. No one knows where the market's going. So you know the drill. Take profits, buy in the dips, etc. Remember, don't put all your money in a single dip because we could go lower. But the discussion of today is Putin wants unfriendly countries to pay for Russian gas in rubles. This is pretty big. This took place actually yesterday. Russia will seek payment in rubles for gas sold to unfriendly countries. President Vladimir Putin said on Wednesday, and European gas prices soared on concerns the move would exacerbate the region's energy crunch. European nations in the United States have imposed heavy sanctions on Russia since Moscow sent troops into Ukraine on February 24th. But Europe depends heavily on Russian gas for heating and power generation, and the European Union is split on whether to sanction Russia's energy sector or not. Putin's message was clear: if you want our gas, buy our currency. It remained unclear whether Russia has the power to unilaterally. It remained unclear whether Russia has the power to unilaterally change existing contracts agreed upon in euros. The ruble briefly leapt with a shock announcement to a 3 week high past 95 against the dollar. It pared gains, but stayed well below 100, closing at 97.7 against the dollar, down more than 22% since February 24th. Some European wholesale gas prices up to 30% higher on Wednesday. British and Dutch wholesale gas prices jumped. Russian gas accounts for some 40% of Europe's total consumption. EU gas imports from Russia this year have fluctuated between 200 million to 800 million euros, or 880 million a day. Russia will continue, of course, to supply natural gas in accordance with volumes and prices fixed in previously concluded contracts. Putin said at a televised meeting with government ministers the changes will only affect the currency of payment, which will be changed to Russian rubles. German Economy Minister Robert Habeck called Putin's demand a breach of contract, and other buyers of Russian gas echoed the point. This would constitute a breach of payment sorry, this would constitute a breach to payment rules included in the current contract, said senior Polish government source, adding Poland has no intention of signing new contracts with Gazprom after their existing deal expires at the end of the year. Major banks are reluctant to trade in Russian assets, further complicating Putin's demands. A spokesperson for Dutch gas supplier NECO, which buys 15% of its gas from Russian gas giant Gazprom's German subsidiary, Gas GmbH, said it had long-term contract denominated in euros. I can't imagine we will agree to change the terms of that. According to Gazprom, 58% of its sales of natural gas to Europe and other countries as of January 27th were settled in euros. US dollars accounted for about 39% of gross sales and sterling around 3%. Commodities traded worldwide are largely transacted in the US dollar or the euro, which makes up roughly 80% of worldwide currency reserves. There's no danger for the gas supply. We have checked. There's a financial counterparty that can realize a transaction also in rubles. Energy Minister Alexander Nikolov told reporters in Sofia. We expect all kinds of actions on the verge of the unusual, but the scenario has been discussed, so there is no risk for the payments under the existing contract. So, more or less, Russia invaded Ukraine roughly about a month ago, and in retaliation, the West, or the Western hegemony, which includes the U.S., France, Germany, UK, Spain, etc. Basically, Western hegemony slapped Russia with sanctions. Basically, they told them, hey, you can't use Visa, MasterCard. Companies like Apple and Nike claim they're no longer going to do stuff like that. Russia's soccer team was kicked out of FIFA. Is a lot of stuff's happening as a retaliation to Putin's invasion of Ukraine, whether justifiable or not. That's not today's discussion, but really what we've seen in the past month is we're going to slap all these sanctions on Putin and his Russian goons, so they know we mean business. They know we're serious about this, and they better stop invading Ukraine this minute, or we're going to slap them with more sanctions and stuff like that. And like, get me wrong, the sanctions are probably having some effect on Russia and Putin and his goons, if you want to call them that. But it didn't have the intended effect that we had anticipated, because literally we're paying almost double for what we for gas roughly like 18 to 24 months ago. It's pretty crazy. And inflation's being chalked up to this invasion that happened in Ukraine, even though CPI estimate was right around 8% before the invasion. So they're basically lying in our face and saying, yeah, these sanctions are hurting Putin. It's just only a matter of time before he gives in to our demands and he stops his invasion of Ukraine. It'll all be over soon, guys. As soon as we put enough sanctions on them, it'll be all over. It'll be all said and done, so to speak. And the sanctions are having an opposite effect because Putin is still making a crap ton of money on oil, which means that just allows him to continue the war machine that he has going over in Ukraine. And that's just going to further the problem. And you know what? I don't know if you guys recall, but the Russian ruble, following the invasion of Ukraine, tumbled something like over 30%. And so Putin and the Russians are realizing, okay, well, how can we strengthen the ruble? What commodity do we have that what commodity do we have that we can use, that we can tie to the ruble to strengthen the ruble? Because right now it's weak. Well, Russia owns a lot of gas, so they're looking to force countries in the European Union, along with the US, looking for those countries to pay possibly for their gas in rubles. This would be an unprecedented move considering the US dollar for the long time has been used to transact oil, to pay for oil and stuff like that. So they are changing the game essentially by putting having countries pay for Russian gas in rubles. Now, the European Union will most likely comply to a certain extent because they are largely dependent on Russian gas and Russian diesel, but the US and maybe a few other countries may not want to do these transactions because they don't rely on Russia nearly as much for gas and stuff like that. So they may continue transacting for gas in US dollars, but my friends, this is huge sign that the US dollar, the petrodollar is on the decline. I mean, between Saudi Arabia basically putting Joe Biden on to voicemail when he was calling him when Joe Biden was calling Saudi Arabia for oil, they basically put him to voicemail, which shows you that they're not really happy with us right now and they don't want to do a bunch of oil sales with us. And, they're in talks with China to do oil sales with China in yuan. And then you have Russia trying to charge for their gas via rubles. As you can see, the US dollar is definitely in a very dangerous spot, and we're seeing potentially the ruble strengthening and potentially overtaking the dollar depending on where this goes. Again, like I said earlier, I do think countries in the European Union will ultimately give in to Putin's demands, ultimately they will be short on gas for years to come. It is kind of ironic that a lot of these countries have leaders here in the Western world have leaders that ran on the platform with Build Back Better, but if you look at the past 2 years, there's nothing being built back better. I mean, gas line oil supply lines are strained. Inflation's at an all-time high. I don't know what we're building back better to. It sounds like we're just regressing at this point. But anyways, not to get too political about it. What do you guys think? Do you think this basically seals the deal for the decline of the US dollar? Russian gas going to be paid in rubles and not in USD? These are crazy times, you guys. These are incredible developments that we're seeing in real time. But let me know what you think down below in the comments section. Are you worried, concerned? Let me know. What altcoins are you taking profits on? What altcoins are you rolling with as of right now? Personally, I told you guys I'm mainly only buying Bitcoin, ETH, and VGX. As we break above potentially this resistance band, maybe I'll start layering into some other altcoins because kind of something to me that we're getting a little bit more into a on environment, but time will tell nonetheless. If you guys enjoyed today's video, I'd appreciate you to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified when we go live next. And I will see you guys all next Monday, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And until then, take care, invest wisely. Peace.